ask is kind of, how did you guys get started? What made you want to create a YouTube channel? And did you think you could get to this kind of stage you're at now? Should we start? Go on, Riyadh.
Okay, I put it up to my mouth, so I'll start then. I started in 2007, 2008. The internet was very young, so was YouTube, and so was I. And I remember just watching this guy called Tyler Oakley, who had a couple of 100 followers, and he was just talking to me in his bedroom, and I instantly was like, I want to be his friend, I want to know him, and I also thought I could do it too, potentially better. Not. I went around to Paris City that day and bought like a €3 shitty webcam with a microphone built in and started making really, really bad sketches. Did that for 9 months and got a bunch of online hate, and at the time YouTube didn't have like structures in place to protect the creators. It was just like, I actually went to the guards because I had death threats. Like, yeah, honestly, like, how glam. I got death threats. And they said to me, just stop making videos. That was their advice. So I did. And then 7 years later, I decided I'm old enough and bold enough and attention-seeking enough to go back on the platform. So I'm back about 1.5 years, and it's just gone mental. So I'm delighted. That's my story.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well, I started my channel back in 2012. And I only kind of uploaded once or twice, real sporadically all over the place, and I did like an unboxing, or it was a what's in my bag kind of tag video at the time. They were kind of going around. It was like a really popular video at the time. And then I just not lost interest, I broke my camera and I just kind of steered away from YouTube. And then around this time last year I came back, and it was coming up to Halloween, and I started doing lots of Halloween tutorials, and I was doing like the special effects makeup, and I got approached by like Paramount, like really huge company, to want to work with me and create a video with me, and it kind of just grew from there. I think this time last year I had like maybe 30,000 followers, maybe less, and then like it's just grown from there. So kind of just the bubble kind of just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, it's mine. Can you hear me? Do I need that? I don't think I need that. Yeah.
No, right?
I started in 2014. Early 2014, but before I did, I had thought about starting. So I just thought, I don't mind starting YouTube. What do I want to do? I was in medical school at the time, so I thought I was going to do videos on how to study medicine and how to get people into med school, all of that geeky stuff. But I just didn't know what way to go about it. So the plan was there, was just waiting to be executed. Then in 2014, I had a random video where I was dancing in my bomb shorts with my husband, posted that on my Instagram, and I woke up to like phone calls and messages saying, are you the one that we just saw dancing in your shorts? So someone must have lifted it off of my Instagram, and that video went viral. So I then got a lot of comments saying, we want to know, like, you guys are so cute, oh my God, I want to see you guys, you know. So I thought, well, let's do something about it. So based on the request, people wanted to see us dance. So we did 1 or 2 more videos, and I sat down and thought, I had thought about starting YouTube before I did, and this was not what I wanted to do. I'm not a dancer. I don't want to be dancing online. So I started putting out content that I had thought about the year before. So for me, I think it's just when preparation meets opportunity. Yeah, that's how I started.
Yeah.
Well, I think my story's a lot simpler. I started about 4 years ago, and because I'm like a gamer, I was in making really cool stuff in worlds in like Minecraft. Anyone knows that game, or different games, and nobody at home really knew what I was doing or cared, like, so ended up putting it online, see if anyone else had a mutual interest, and it just started growing from there, like, and now we just do loads of different games and get to live the dream, really, doing it. Yeah. Nice and simple.
So other than some lovely pictures of whales behind you, so I've asked kind of how you started. Now the question, my favourite question, is if you were to start all over again, and you're at the beginning, what would you do differently? What mistakes have you learned from? And what would you change?
If I was going to do it again, number one, would stay on the platform when I started and not leave for 7 years like a gobshite. Would be rich. And then I would also make just the content I want to make, and I wouldn't copy anyone. To take inspiration, but actually copy them. You can look at someone's videos and think, oh my god, I really admire them, I think they're great, but that doesn't mean that you have to do that, or that doesn't mean that you're actually going to be good at that. So never upload a video the night that you edit it, unless you're in a mad rush. If you can, make it, film it, edit it, go to bed, and then look at it again. That's the best advice I could ever give, because after you sleep, you're going to look at it again the next morning and see all the shit bits, basically, that you should take out. So yeah, just be painfully original if you can, and that's what I'd do different.
Perfect.
That's fine. I wouldn't do anything different.
Everything's imperfect? You wouldn't change a single thing?
I mean, when you talk about perfection, I think it's subjective. So I'm not doing YouTube full time. I still have a job. So I would, based on the numbers, someone would say, like, maybe Choo is more successful than I am because of the numbers. But no, for example, because that's usually on YouTube, you measure success based on the number of subscriptions. But for me, my success is subjective. I think I'm successful in where I want to be. I'm not in competition with people who do it full time. So I'm fine with the level that I'm at. So I wouldn't do anything differently.
So if we change question, fair enough. If we change it to like what mistakes or anything you would like to, like you've learned from to do differently.
One thing, it's funny, I was talking about this with my husband yesterday, and one thing was we would have just maybe taken our time to invest in a good camera. Because the first video that we did, we opened our MacBook, there was the camera of the Mac. It was absolute, just so blurry. Production was bad, no editing skills whatsoever. It was just so awkward. I would have just invested in better equipment because there was no rush to think about it.
When I first started, I like kind of what Riyadh was saying, I was trying to be something else or someone else, or being like attractive to other people by like being not fake. I won't use that word. It's kind of like a filtered version of yourself, we'll say. Whereas now I just think like it's, if you don't like me, then just go away. Like don't bother watching me. Like what is the point? And you'll get people who will say things to you like, oh, you're faking your accent. That's like one of the biggest comments I get on my channel. That accent is so fake. And you go between an American and Irish accent. I was like, no, it's an Irish accent. Like this, it's weird. It's not diddly eye. Like that's not an Irish accent that you're used to in the US or wherever you're from. So I just think being natural. Like I look back even in my early videos and I was like, oh, trying to be so excited and really interesting. When if it was just like let it just be real kind of, and just let it flow exactly, really natural. People can see so true and it's transparent. If you're trying to be someone else or if you're trying to be like a better version of yourself, just be yourself. Like people love you and people will hate you. That's the world.
You can't please everyone.
No, you cannot please everyone. Learn from that.
Mine is kind of similar to that, except it's like when you first start off, do you ever feel you're kind of holding yourself back and you're afraid to do certain things? Like for me, like good 2 years before I done face cam, things like that. So I was playing games like side my computer. So just I wish I kind of just went all in at the start, and I think I'd be doing a lot better now if I did.
I think like a bit of advice I have for trying to find your voice online, because it can be really hard. I was lucky because I did radio for loads of years, so I knew what my voice sounded like, and it wasn't cringy when I listened back to myself. But for most people, you hear it and you're like, oh Jesus, really? So what I say is film yourself just talking, just having a conversation about whatever, or a pretend video, and don't upload it, and just watch it back over and over and over, and it will never see the light of day, so you can talk about whatever you want, and just make your brain used to hearing your own voice, not out of your mouth, because it resonates in your head differently. What you're hearing is a deeper, sexier, lovelier you. We're hearing something else. So you want to hear yourself the way everyone else is hearing you, and then just start to love your voice for what it is. And then you'll be more confident when you go into a video and you know, start talking.
I think that would make a great video. Why do I hate the sound of my own voice?
Science of it, yeah.
The psychology, everything. Next upload? Not funny.
If we get a brand deal out of it, maybe.
Okay, that brings us on to a point then. Have you guys worked with brands? And if so, how have you found it? And is there any advice you'd give to people in the audience around it?
I have, yeah. I've worked with a lot of brands, mostly because my channel is child friendly. I don't cuss. Like, I was just recording you speaking a minute ago and I just cut it off because you started cussing like that.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. But I've got to work with loads of really cool things that I've grown up with, like the Beano and Dennis the Menace and cool stuff like that, like, and just really cool stuff like that. So there's also some people who come to you though that you don't want to work with, but I won't go too much into that. I don't want to be naming names. Will you?
Well, I already mentioned Paramount. I got to work with them, and I've worked with Rimmel. I went over to London with them last March to the YouTube space over there as well. I've worked with L'Oreal. I've worked with Urban Decay. I've worked with loads and loads and loads of brands. And again, like actually what you were saying about the not like cursing and stuff in your videos, I don't do that.
I didn't actually start that because it was to be child friendly. I just think it's disrespectful. Imagine being a kid, right, watching and your parent hears the person cussing. Yeah. They're gonna say,
like, turn it off. Yeah.
So that's why I didn't.
And I totally agree, but I treat it like I would at a job. Like if you go into your job, you're not gonna like be working behind the till like swearing at the customers, like, you know, you just don't do it, like. And it's not like something I was holding back from, but it does. A lot of brands won't work with you if you do it. Like Rimmel are not gonna possibly work with me if I'm effing and blinding and I'm talking about a Rimmel like mascara or something. It's not gonna happen, like.
No, don't be sorry. That's your brand, and you got to protect your brand. For me, when I went out and I decided I'm going to try and make this my job within, say, like a year or whatever, and thankfully it is that now. I knew that I wasn't going to edit myself in any way. I swear a lot in normal life, and I think that one of the things that's made my channel grow so fast is that I am 110% authentic. I will look back at a video, and if I think I'm acting a little bit funny or I'm trying to like contort myself into this product, I then scrap that video and I do it again. I have to be myself, or that's why it's called YouTube. If I wasn't a swearer, then I wouldn't swear in my videos. But I've had situations where brands will come to me and they'll say, we like your videos, whatever. They wouldn't have watched the video, they just see the number, and then they offer you some money. And then halfway through the brand deal, they will look at one of your videos and they'll see that you're effing and blinding. And they try and pull out, or they try and ask you, will you not swear in our video? And I say, well, it's swearing or no video. And usually they just go, okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build up a channel that's of a size where they won't care. They want the publicity, they want to give the money, they want to be on the channel, and they're going to like overlook that. They're swearing on TV these days, they're swearing everywhere, it's just a word. I'm not saying it to a person, I'm just using it as like an arching word like that or and.
But I think it's a completely fair point, because if you ever go to any comedy gig or anything, it's hard to find a comedian who doesn't, and your content is to make people laugh and around adult topics.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have younger kids first learning how to do makeup or watching Minecraft, it's just the right thing to do. So it all sounds good to me.
And with brand deals as well, I'll just keep this real quick, Rolo, sorry. With brand deals, if you are being approached by brands at the moment, don't undersell yourself. That's one of the main things Melanie at the back kept telling me. You're not charging enough. You have to understand that the platform that you have is sometimes a lot bigger than the publicity that they get from TV, radio and print. And not just that, but it's more, there's more interaction with your audience than they will get from an ad before the X Factor. You see it, but you don't really take it in. So what you have to offer is worth a lot to them, and you should be getting paid right for it.
But that being said, don't be greedy either.
Well,
Because, no, it's,
look, at the end of the day,
whether or not you need it, because if you're gonna charge, for example, you need 2 grand, and then you're charging 10 grand. Would you rather lose the entire money or get something less than?
well, it's all about being a good business person and pitching an idea and saying, hey, will you pay this? Not saying, I will not do it if you don't pay this. And you go back and forth and you haggle with them. And, you know, everyone then ends up happy. And another thing is, only do stuff with brands that you actually like, don't lie.
Yeah.
You want to be able to say, I actually use this thing, I actually like it. Because people are more intelligent than we give them credit for. And they'll know if you're lying and it will damage you.
But I would say the best thing is to have a conversation with someone who has the same subscriber bases numbers as you do and find out what they're charging. Because if you'd say to a brand, if you give them 10 times the price that they paid someone else, then they would say no. They don't.
If you've got a good friend in the industry who's willing to talk numbers with you, then totally go there. And I would really encourage that. A lot of YouTubers are very kind of like, they hold the cards so close to their chest, you don't know who's getting what.
Yeah.
There is a website called Social Blue Book that you can check out, and they tell you what your kind of worth on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, the whole lot. And if it's for a mention or a dedicated video or whatever, it gives you an actual number.
Yeah.
So, I'll just also add one point about this is that if you film an advert for TV, it might run for a week or a month. You do a branded piece of content on YouTube, it can be there for the next 5 years and continue to rack up views for that company. But I wanted to kind of draw this back a bit because a lot of the audience are kind of aspiring YouTube channels who might not be at that kind of area yet, but might want to be. So for the future, what's a good way of getting in touch with a brand you're interested in? Because I know that at certain sides you just get approached, but if you want to work with X,
I don't think you should approach them. You have to let them come to you.
really? Yeah, that's
I
got to
think
start at some point.
Yeah,
I
but
beg to
I think
differ.
just keep working on your channel until they come to you.
It
I don't agree with
it
that.
depends on the brand that you're approaching. Like, if you want to approach, like, it will say I have a makeup and I do nutrition as well. I'm not going to approach Adidas. Here, can you sponsor me to do a video? And I'll run around, like, and I'll talk about the new runners that come out. Like, you're not going to do that. I would maybe possibly approach, like, Rimmel, like I was talking about earlier, or my Estee Lauder or something, and say, you know, well, some of them brands are huge and they don't want to know you either because you're just like a little ant to them. But some brands will, like, you'd be surprised. Like, I remember I approached the BAM way back when I first started doing my channel, and they were really reciprocate and they were really, really helpful as well. And they wanted to help me out with they sent me products, and I did a video for free for them, because obviously I was just delighted at the time. But it depends on the brand. Know what your channel's about, and don't approach a brand that's obscure to your channel just because you think you might get something free or they might sponsor something for you.
Yeah, so and also if you're going to approach a brand, like Ash said, approach a brand that's relevant to the content that you put out on YouTube. And when you do that, before you do that, make sure that it's a brand that has started working with content creators. So you know that, for example, the recent one is Depop that has been sponsoring a lot of content creators. So Depop is interested in working with YouTubers. So then you organize a pitch deck, write out everything good about your channel and say to them, this is how we can collaborate. Like, because a lot of companies still don't understand YouTube, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know that you get more advertising on YouTube than you would traditionally, like in a newspaper or a TV. So
I think if you want to approach a brand, a lot of the time, like Adanna said, they've never a lot of them are very afraid about approaching YouTubers, and they're afraid of like insulting us or something by offering too little money. You want to make them aware that you want to be there for them and you want to work on something creative. And if you have an idea in your head of a video you want to make, and you know that this brand, through access by getting you somewhere or through funding, can make that creative idea a reality. For instance, I pitched an idea to Netflix about 2 months ago because I had worked with them before. They knew that I created some good stuff. They were like, yeah, we want to do it. It's just for like a music video, basically, that will live on my channel, but they're going to be promoted in this music video. Now, I don't sing, it's just you'll see it down the line. But they very, very quickly were like, yeah, we're going to pay for this, and it's probably going to cost them over like 10 or 20 grand. I'm not seeing the money because I don't want the money. I actually just want to make this amazing piece of content. And they love that because I get the AdSense after, you see. So you have to look at like the full life cycle of the video. They're going to get the promo, you're going to get the content that you want, but also down the line you get the AdSense.
So they don't mind having other brands at pre-roll in front of a branded piece of content?
No, because certain brands, especially like the younger, cooler ones, like Netflix or like Amazon, they want a type of advertising that the old school guys don't want. All these new people, they want organic, fun, new, edgy sort of stuff. They don't want to buy a print ad.
No, it's just if an Amazon Prime show shows up in front of a Netflix branded content, that's what I mean.
Ooh, I haven't thought about that one.
Don't preach it.
We don't need to have control over our ads.
No.
Like it's like Riyadh can't control that maybe L'Oreal want to advertise in front of his videos, and he's going to say, sure, that's not my audience. They're not going to avail whatsoever from that ad.
Yeah.
We've no control, so therefore I presume Netflix or the brands that you're working with would be aware
Taking
of that
that,
as well.
Just a final thing. I think the brand in this case specifically wanted to look as though they just helped me. They didn't produce it fully. They just went here, make it, and it's then mine. It's just out there in the world. So it's less like. And as well, if a brand comes to you and they list off, here's a script that you must say, here's the length the video must be, you must mention it in the first 30 seconds of the video, you must do this point, this point, this point, you then must show it on screen for this amount of seconds, tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Because that's an ad, not a sponsorship and a collaboration. That's an ad, and it shouldn't be that.
It's like if they then start clauses like if you choke whilst making this video, or if you fall down the stairs, which not great. Okay, so if we move away from the branded side for a bit, and if you guys want to ask more questions about that, you can either do it at the end or tweet. I want to move more for the kind of creative side. Where do you find your inspiration for videos and ideas? And do you look up to anyone as well?
I talk loads, you do.
Okay, where do I find inspiration from content? It just kind of comes to me, like it could be sitting at home and I'd be like, oh, that'd be a great idea for a video, which I'm sure lots of people in here would think that, they'd have those kind of ideas as well, because you wouldn't be YouTubers if you didn't have those ideas. And I think that's the difference between a very average channel and a brilliant channel. Some people either have it or you don't. It's not a learned thing. You can't say to somebody, the ideas will come to you. If they're not going to, it's like someone who's writing. It's an art form. If it's not going to come to you, it's not going to come to you. So that kind of, just sometimes they come to you. Sometimes brands approach you and they'll say, I'd like to do this type of video. Can we, market that around your channel, and can you create a video like that? Or sometimes your subscribers, listen to your subscribers, because they're your audience, they're the people you're trying to please. Don't forget, like, you're trying to make content that you enjoy, but you're also trying to make a content that your subscribers are going to enjoy. You're not going to please everybody every single day, but listen to what they're asking you. For instance, on my channel right now, trying to think what's really popular. Those challenge videos are popular. The most popular one at the moment is how you did your makeup in school. So that's one of the most popular challenges that's going around the beauty community. So making videos that are relevant to that time as well. So that's obviously popular now. Making it in a month's time is going to do you no favours whatsoever. The new iPhone 7 came out. If anybody bought that, maybe an unboxing video might be an idea of it. I uploaded my unboxing on my iPhone 6S last year, and it got nearly 500,000 views. So you just don't know what video is gonna,
I want to ask a follow-up question on this, because I get asked this a lot and I don't really know the answer, and I try and ask it. Actually, Thomas, you asked a question. So it's how do you identify trends? So obviously in the beauty and the vlogging kind of communities, you get the challenges and you get the boyfriend tags and stuff like that. Also, side question: who makes the original one? Like, how many people do you know? Is it the big guys? Or?
Well, we'll say like the how I did my makeup in high school. That was our school. It is. There's actually an American YouTuber who created it, and then it's filtered down into school. Or how I did my makeup as a teenager now. But for obviously, if I said how I did my makeup in high school and I'm branding it to my Irish market, they're gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about? You have to as well remember that who you're talking to as well. You have to be international. Yeah. You have to be, because you're just going to cut off a whole lot of people. But who creates them? It could be the big YouTubers. It could be Cosmopolitan might bring out something like in regards to that. It could be anything. It could be something that's trending at the moment. A movie or something.
Have you guys ever managed to start a trend? Yeah, go on.
Reading Grindr messages.
Oh, yeah.
So my first sort of big video was Mom reads Son's Grindr messages, and I made it actually just after I came to this event last time because I was so
2
inspired.
years ago.
And no, honestly, I was very, very inspired, and I made it. And then if you type in Grindr YouTube now, there's like a shit ton of them, and none of them give credit to the original. But I know where it came from, and that's the main thing. But and I know Claire had stuff stolen from her recently as well. The bastards, the Irish bucket list. Yeah. But back to creative process. How I get creative is I try my best to be happy. If I'm not happy, or if I'm in any way anxious, any creative flair or even my delivery, if I have the idea, say over here last week when I was happy, but for some reason this week when I'm filming I'm unhappy, this amazing idea could be killed by my shit delivery because I'm not in the right headspace. So try at all times to be happy, or at least when you're being creative, that's when you need to be. And give yourself enough time. Never rush it. It's like a painting. If it needs to be a day-long shoot, take a day to do it. And yeah, be inspired by other people without copying them. So I very often would look at Casey Neistat, Jenna Marbles, some other people in the UK, just people that I like their edit, I like their style, I like different things, I like the music they use. Watch other YouTubers. I used to have a problem where if I watched a successful YouTuber, I would be overcome with jealousy instead of I want to create something great myself. Try and get rid of that jealousy because it's going to, again, stifle your creativity. Watch them, be happy for them, and know that you will be there too if you do the right thing. Yeah, join them.
Cool. Adanna, where does your kind of creative insight and inspiration come from?
Comes from within. Because I usually just do things that I'm happy with and I'm comfortable with. Recently, we've been big on the travel vlogs, so there's not that much creativity, like you're vlogging what you're doing when you're on holiday. So other than that, as Ash said, listen to your viewers. So I would get a lot of emails asking how I'm able to balance like YouTube and my career, or having a family, or how I got into med school. So based on the questions, I then do a video addressing it.
Answering the audience's needs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. Yeah.
Like I think when you do YouTube, you're just giving your own personality out to the world. Like, so I think it's really cool that if you just be you and that's creative enough, then you're going to come up with stuff that you think's cool, and other people that are similar minded will like it as well. And I think that's the kind of like thing that I like about YouTube in general. So it's kind of
like the new thing that I've found that I can do now, which I wasn't able to do before, is storytime videos. I would always go, who would want to watch about, you know, the fella that farted on my face in Super Quinn? It's not going to be interesting. It didn't actually happen, if only. But now what you'll find is as your channel grows, you don't need to make videos in order to try and reach other people that have never seen your stuff, because at a small scale you're always like, I need more people to subscribe and to be my viewers. When you build up a channel of, I don't know, like 5, 10, 20, 30,000 subscribers, you then have a ready-made audience that are there for you. So why not just give them something specifically for them? So, for instance, today I did my first favourites video. I never thought I'd make a favourites video, but I know that my audience will want that. I probably won't reach even one person outside of that audience, but who cares? Next week's video will be bigger and better. So try and pander to the ones that love you and like you for who you are, but then also try and go beyond them and get new people in. The hero hub and health.
Yeah, this is a perfect recollection of a different workshop we do. Brilliant. So earlier we heard a lot of kind of collaboration ideas from these guys, and they had sessions of getting into groups of 5 or 6. I want to ask you guys, have you done many collaborations? And if so, what were the good bits? What were the downsides? What could you tell these guys? Other YouTube collaborations, yeah.
Well, yeah, I've done with lots of YouTubers, and the best part about collaborating is you get to work with somebody else. You get to hear their kind of perspective on YouTube as well. They talk to you about, oh, this is working for me, that's not working for me. Make friends. that's the biggest thing I can recommend for you. Make friends today, like now. You know, you need to make friends. I have friends in England, I have friends in America. I probably would never see my friends in America, but they're YouTuber friends, and I talk to them quite regularly. And collaborating with them, the best parts of it is that. So you get to see a bit of their audience. Don't forget, like, obviously, maybe if you're collaborating with someone in the UK or the US or maybe somewhere in Europe, they have their followers that are coming from that part of the world, and then your followers are going to come from Ireland as well. So it's going to be like a give and take. The bad part of it is, well, I suppose if you're very well planned out and you have it all structured and stuff, there shouldn't be a downside. Just make sure you have I suppose, told the other person how exactly you want their videos to be structured in comparison to yours, and that you want them to mention you as well. That's happened to me before, where I did a collaboration and the girl never even mentioned me in the video. You know, she put the link in her description box but never mentioned me in the video. So, or the title, didn't mention the title. That's really important to get, you know, to get people to actually go to your channel, because that's the whole point of the collaboration. You're not doing for the, you know, just for the lols and the bands, but you are as well. But, you know, you want to get something from it. That's the whole point of a collaboration.
Yeah, I think that every collaboration should be mutually beneficial. So as much as you want to get the subs or the views from the other channel, they want to do the same. So if you were to think about a collaboration, be realistic in who you approach. You can't have a sub of 1,000 and email Zoella for a collaboration. Your email will get missing. They won't even see it. So because she's thinking, what am I going to benefit from these people? So if you have someone that's starting out as well, do videos together and try to collaborate with people who do content that slightly overlaps. You can't, like, if I was to, off the top of my head, if I was to think of a collaboration, I can't even, except like with my child now, and then I go to Choo to teach him how to game. Otherwise, like, I don't see the way that our content overlaps.
Do my makeup.
While playing Minecraft.
Yeah, so you don't want to collaborate, and people are watching the video like, okay, we're on his channel and you're there. We have no reason to subscribe to you because you're not doing something that we're interested in. So you want to collaborate with someone that does something that overlaps, and you want to be realistic in who you approach. If you are going to approach someone who is maybe not on the same level, just slightly above you, you should take the initiative to think about a collaboration that will work out for both channels. So I can't be contacting someone who has a 350,000 subscribers and tell them, oh listen, I want to collaborate with you. Here's my idea for my channel. Think of something. It's like they didn't even want to collaborate with you to begin with. So if you can think about like two things, like two videos you would like to film, pitch it to them saying, this is what I like on my channel and this is what I think will work great on your channel. What do you think?
Make sure you actually like their channel and you do watch it as well.
Of course, yeah.
When it comes to collabs, I have to say they're one of the best things you can do to be, you know, found. There's so many people that have come to my channel now simply because I've collabed in a hotel room at VidCon or something, and it wasn't going to happen, but we're like, okay, we really should do a bit of work here. I think when you're collabing with someone, look at the other person and see what skill set or what talent or what amazing thing do they have in their life or on their channel that you can bring into your video and make something amazing for. So because my channel isn't beauty, it isn't gaming, it's just kind of like, it's me, whatever. I did a collab with Adanna, and her being a doctor, I thought, right, so I have to make the video funny and informative. She's a doctor, I'm a fella, I can get her to check my balls. Great. And it has, you know, so I went to her house. You remember that? I went to her house, I stripped down, and it took us a half an hour to film. David was there, he was very okay about it. And what you have is the ingredients for a really successful video. You have the shock factor, you've got the information, you've got the really good thumbnail, the great title. You've got two YouTubers with a sizable channel that are both going to promote the video on their socials. And then, so it went live, and I get emails from like nursing students in Australia. They're showing the video
In
classes
No.
for nurses and stuff, and then Upworthy, you know, massive place thing, whatever. They put the video on their Facebook page to like 13 million people, and that's a collaboration for you. So it's multifaceted, the benefits you can get.
You don't need a checkup for a while either. So
Well,
that's
you're meant to check yourself every day in the shower when your scrotum is soft. Yeah, I remember that bit, yeah. And November's on the way as well, so get checking, lads, get checking. No, check out the video, honestly, you could find something awful. And yeah, collaborations.
I wanted to follow up on a question which I get the answer from everyone, kind of. But all these guys are within the range of 1 to 10,000 subscribers and a bit above and beyond. What is too high for them to... Should they not be going up to trying to collab with someone? 20,000 or 30,000? Depends. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, I had 17, maybe 7,000, and Melanie, who's in the back, collabed with me, and she had like 150,000 at the time. But because me and Melanie are good friends, and we met way back when Melanie's channel was kind of new like mine, like you just don't know whose channel is going to blossom. Also, if you have 150,000 followers but you like somebody,
I was gonna say
don't
that,
say,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
because they have 1 or 2,000
Yeah,
followers, I'm not going to bother
Yeah.
following or doing a collaboration with them.
I agree.
Because that's, you don't know when you will need somebody. It's, you know, on the way up.
I think
you
it's
know,
easier.
you don't know when.
I think it's easier if you meet someone. So, for example, we're all here and we get talking, and you know, we get along, and I like your content, you like my content. We can agree to collaborate. It's more difficult when I'm not here in the room and I get an email from somebody who probably has 1,000 subscribers and then the content doesn't even overlap. It's difficult because then I think, okay, what video can I possibly do and how can I benefit from this collaboration, because it's supposed to be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, but alongside that, which I think these guys could also say, it's not very regularly they get the chance to meet so many people, and I think one of the ways is trying to outreach. And so it doesn't have to be a hard, fast number, but when they are outreaching, let's say, what approach should they take? Should they give a brief of what they wanted the video, or?
I think a lot of YouTubers will get hundreds of emails every day, not even joking, and you want your email to stand out, and number one, it should be an email. I wouldn't send them a tweet, I wouldn't go on their Facebook, I wouldn't do any of that. I'd actually go to the business place directly and address it as business. Say, hi, I'm blah blah blah, this is my channel, and name some of the videos you liked, why you liked them, to prove that you are an actual not a fan, but you know, like you're a viewer and you really appreciate what they make, because you would be surprised how many emails you get every day from brands or other people who've never seen your stuff, and it's a copy and paste job.
How often do you check that business email address?
Every day.
Channel.
I checked it like just before we came here. You could have your next. You could pay your rent from the next. You know.
That's with my job, people don't check that one.
No, I do. I think it's all about building a relationship. Again, Melanie seems to be like the one like angel in all of this. I was at this event, was it a year and a half ago? I don't know how long it was. I had 2,000 subscribers. I was at the very back row. I came alone. I was bricking it. And I asked the question, I was like, I'm having a YouTube identity crisis. What kind of content should I make? And from that question, and you know, through James and mutual friends, I got to know Melanie, and she gave me some amazing, really great advice about how the algorithm works and how I should do my titles, tags and thumbnails, the metadata, and then invited me onto her channel because she saw something in, I don't know, me or my channel, and I now see other people that have 2,000 subscribers, and I go, this guy is going to be huge in a year. And you really want to like nurture them, because like, I now live in London, and you think YouTube is tough here. Oh boy, there are some dickheads over there. And you know the girl I'm talking about. Last year at somewhere in the city, I'm not going to name names, don't worry, no one's being defamed here. Last year at somewhere in the city, I was there and I tried to talk to this girl, not to get a collab, just to become part of the group and be a mate with her, and she wouldn't even make eye contact with me because I wasn't big enough for her. I was 50,000 subscribers, she was 150. Go fast forward a year. Fast forward a year, I'm now bigger than her. Add me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. How's your day going? I love that video you made. I will always remember, bitch. is be nice, be courteous, support yourself, support each other, and never be a dickhead.
Yeah, you don't know where you're going to let yourself down as well. Like, so if you're having a bad day and you're annihilating the poor girl behind the counter in a restaurant, not saying that anyone, or in a shop, not saying that anyone would ever do that, but you don't know who watches you. Because I have been in multiple shops or in town and gotten emails and been like, oh, I saw you in town today, and oh, you looked really upset or sad or whatever. Could have been having a bad day, could have been having a fight with my boyfriend. It doesn't know you just. It's a job everywhere you are, and that's what's so hard about it. So that's why you really have to think how much you want it, because it is so hard when you're walking down like Grafton Street or you're down in Galway and there's someone coming up to you, can I get a picture with you, and you're standing there with your boyfriend and you've no makeup on and you're just after coming out of McDonald's and you're a nutritionist and you're like, shit, yeah, sure, put the McDonald's behind your back, yeah, sure. You just don't know as well. So it is like a full-time job. It is.
I think that bit's fun. I love that. I know. Especially when I'm locked in a nightclub and they're like, hey, can I have a picture? And I'm like, hey, can I have a kiss as well? I'm joking. Not.
So, firstly, we now know the question Riyadh asked 2 years ago at this same panel, so start thinking about your questions. Hopefully they can be funnier than Riyadh's. As in, his was funny, so you've got to beat it. And no, that's what I meant. And I wanted to ask, because you just got to that kind of point, but as you're growing, your relationship with your audience can change as well. How do you kind of see your audience and approach them? You obviously get a lot of feedback through comments and meeting people in the real world. How has your relationship with your audience changed over time?
I mean,
Go
for me, I just think of everyone as friends that I haven't met yet. So what David and I have decided to do is basically any country that we travel to, we try to do a little meet and greet so we can interact with people that we interact with online. And that way, for me, when I put a face to the number, it makes it more real. Like I follow everyone that I meet. Like when we organize a meet and greet, I follow everyone on Twitter or on Instagram, because then I stay in touch with a friend. They become like real friends. So that's what I do to kind of keep in touch with people that watch.
I think for me, when I start going to events, when you actually, like, for me, most of my fan base is very young, so I'd be in an event and some kid would come up to me and he'd just be like, and I'm like, alright, and he's like, and he just won't reply, you know. So like, going from not seeing any faces, just seeing a number pop up, like you're saying, seeing something like that, really makes it more than like a job. You actually feel like it's worth more, and it's really nice. Like,
yeah,
so.
I think it's nice.
The reaction.
Yeah.
If you feel kind of an obligation to like be that same person that they know online. So I always say, like,
No, go ahead.
I have friends that are like not in the industry, and they wouldn't quite get it, and so you'd be walking somewhere and you know someone would run up and they will not have been expecting to see you and you them, and I give them as much time as I physically can before I'm going to be late to the thing I'm going to, and my mates will get pissed off at that, but my logic is this person has an image of me in their head and they've invested time and you know in watching my videos. I need to live up to that for them, and it's about also knowing a very creative and gentle way to say goodbye. So some different YouTubers have different ways. So it's like, oh well, it was lovely to meet you, and give them a hug, and or say, do you want to get a picture? And then the picture is usually the end. And I know this sounds really dickheady, but it's about keeping that relationship and letting them know that you really, really appreciate them. And when you go to the conferences and the conventions all over the world and you see their faces and they hand you letters and the letters are like, I was suicidal, but that video helped me not do it. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're doing something. Just by being you, you're not necessarily making an anti-suicide video, you're just being you, and you are their hope, or what, I don't know, it's crazy. So just you have to respect them, and also my perception has changed. I used to think years ago that they're all thick. I'll just make a video, they'll love it, whatever. It's me, huh? But then you realise that they are very intelligent and that they need to be treated that way, and that you can't lie to them. Don't even try, because you'll fail.
Ash?
Okay, so when I first started my YouTube channel, I made an effort to thank everyone who's subscribed to my channel and to reply to every single comment. And actually, recently, one of my followers made a video, and she was just mentioned me in the video. And I always will look if someone says, "I made a video about you. Can you look?" I will always dedicate the time to them, always. They're the number one. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for them. But I will always look, and one of her comments she made was that Aisling always replies. She always replies. Now, it's not physically possible to reply to 458,000 people. It's not physically possible. But it is possible to reply to 10, to 15. Allocate an hour, reply to your comments, reply to your Twitter messages, reply to your Instagrams. You know, take the pictures that they're posting of you, or, you know, just like them, whatever. Like, they love it. Retweet them. I always retweet. And give them a like if they're on Twitter and they see a tweet towards you. Interact with them, because they are so important, and you obviously need them because they're the reason why you are where you are. And it's nice, like, when they come up to you and say hello. That's the most amazing feeling ever. And I always remember one subscriber, she sticks out in my head so much. Her name's Quiva, and I was down in Galway, and I was in Pennies, and she could not talk. She was standing there like a terrified little deer in the headlights, just like, "I love you," and she could not talk, and all she could mutter out was her name. And I'll always remember her, but I just gave her a hug. I got a picture with her, and like, I just said goodbye, like what Riyadh was saying, you know, dedicate the time to them, but obviously don't, I would say you're welcome. You can't do it, like, you have your life to live as well, but do dedicate the time to them. Like whatever they're sending you, look at it. Don't say, "Oh, I don't have time for that." Look at it, just whatever it is, no matter what they write about you, just look at it, even if it's negative. Just look at it.
So I think that's 4 of the nicest answers I've heard to that question, so I just want to give a round of applause.